What is up, Formula One race fans? It's James from the Formula One Bros. Now that the Japanese Grand Prix is over, I want to talk specifically about Ollie Behrman and this accident with the regulations and also the statement that the FIA put out. So, for those of you who did not watch the Japanese Grand Prix or don't know what's going on, Ollie Behrman had a really, really nasty accident. Hit the wall going with 50 G's of force after having to get out of the way of Colapinto because of the closing speed. He was closing on Colapinto extremely fast because of the difference in deployment, had to get out of the way onto the grass, and that slingshotted him into the wall. The FIA put out a statement, which the FIA, they put it out on the official FIA social medias and everything, so you can go look at it. Essentially what it says is like, hey, we know what happened, we know we kind of messed up, there are opportunities to change it, but basically they're bending the knee to the stakeholders. Basically they know something can change, there's opportunities to change, but they're unsure of what could change in the future or if it will change at all. So if you hear any speculation of like, oh yeah, they're going to change the regulations and go back to the 70-30 split instead of the 50-50. Right now, those are just speculation. That's just rumors. Nothing is officially reported on that yet. So there are a couple things about this that I want to mention. First off, I posted a video about how bad the regulations are. And I got a lot of comments from people saying, but the racing's better, but the racing's better. And I always said, like, yeah, the racing may be better, but like it's potentially dangerous. I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. And this was a mild accident compared to what we could potentially see at tracks like Qatar or even, Baku and Las Vegas, where there aren't any runoff roads or areas with gravel. That I'll think about Ollie Behrman going straight into a wall without having the car slow down any from gravel or grass. Like this was the first accident. If the FIA doesn't do something about it, it's going to get way worse. There are going to be way worse accidents. Drivers could potentially get seriously injured. And it's not just me saying it. Literally every Formula One driver has said that. Fernando Alonso said it pre-race. He said it pre-race before anything happened. Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, a bunch of other drivers said something about Ollie's accident after the race was over, how it was directly related to the regulations. Another thing that really irks me about this situation is right after it happened, it seemed like the commentators were blaming Colapinto for it, which I don't care if you are superhuman. When you're moving, when Colapinto is driving that fast, he was significantly slower than Ollie, but when you're driving that fast and you're approaching a corner very quickly and you go to look in your mirror, you don't have time. The brain does not have time to register that, oh, he's closing really, really fast. So it was not Colapinto's fault. And even the Haas team principal came out and said, yeah, that wasn't Colapinto's fault. It's purely based on the regulations fault. So that really irked me when the commentators immediately were trying to protect the regulations image and blame Colapinto for it. And another evidence, the FIA knows that these regulations are bad and not being received well because they cut away during the pole lap. They cut away from Kimi Antonelli's onboard leading up into 130R. So that way you didn't have to see the onboard of the super clipping. Like they know it's bad. They know it's bad and they're trying to cover it up. So where do we go from here and will anything change? In the FIA statement, they just said there are parameters of the deployment that are changeable. It's not a fix. The 50-50 split is not a fix. It's something that can be adjusted. Now, will anything happen with who is in charge of the FIA and everything? I doubt it. I doubt it. A big phrase in Formula One has always been cash is king. Cash is always king. And it seems like the stakeholders pushed for this and they don't really care how good or bad the racing is or how good or bad the regulations are being received as long as they're getting their pockets filled with money. They don't care. So should it change? Absolutely. Last year's deployment versus internal combustion engine ratio was 70-30. 70% reliable or reliant on the internal combustion engine, 30% reliant on the battery. I think at a minimum, it should be that. I would be okay with 75-25. but at least it should go back to that. That's just my opinion. Now, will it? I doubt it. I don't think the FIA is going to do anything to change. I I hope I'm proven wrong, but I doubt it.